Hello everybody, I am Jake, aka Bomber, and I welcome you all into Jobber Radio's monthly Deathmatch Rundown. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you several different things that took place last month inside the deathmatch world of professional wrestling. I'm talking anything from the 5 must-see death matches that you better not skip over to special happenings inside the scene that took place. I'm also going to keep it caught up on the deathmatch title matches that took place all over the month, and I may even sprinkle in a hot take or two. With that said, let's kick things off with the Jesus Christ spot of the month. At H2O's Hustle and Gold Sunday Night of Champions event, we saw Neil Diamond Cutter take on Toshiyuki Sakuda in an international dream death match. Quick little warning though, if you get a little squeamish when it comes to gore, you may need to look away here. It takes quite a bit to freak me out when it comes to deathmatch wrestling, but when Sakuda pulled out those long spikes, needles, rods, whatever, I don't know what the hell they were, but when he brutally started shoving them through Neil's nostrils and then one more through his cheeks, dear Lord. Neil Diamond Cutter looked like a goddamn Cenobite from Hellraiser there for a minute. I will say, as gross as it was, the visual of the crossing of those rods, it looked pretty damn sweet. And we're not done here, because right after that, Neil pulled out some skewers, drove them into the cheeks of Sakuda right before he pulled the needles out of his own face, shoving them into his head. Yeah, and that is why this is your Jesus Christ spot of the month. I don't even know how this is going to be topped the rest of the year, and we're right here in January. So let's talk a little bit of deathmatch wrestling news here. We're going to start off with Circle 6. We are going to be talking the 7. What is 7? SVN, what is it? I've seen a lot of people online kind of confused on what's going on, what it means. So I'm going to try to simplify that in this video. Circle 6 is dubbing this the evolution of violence. So what does that mean? Long story short, it is several tapings that they're going to have that are going to be broken down into individual episodes, apparently, that are going to be released on IWTV. Because traditionally right now, a company just has an event. It's just going to be one event, 3 hours roughly, you got 8, 9 so matches. Boom, there you go. Once a month, twice a month, a couple times a month, boom, done. But what Circle 6 is doing, they're going to be holding those events, using it to splice it up, maybe interweave some other live performances, music performances, stuff like that, and make it almost a show, it looks like, which they did state it is not going to be a weekly show. So it's not going to be like Monday Night Raw of death matches. But it's going to be something along those lines. So looking in at their schedule that they posted, January 26th is when they had their first taping in Los Angeles of 7 SVN. They'll be in Indianapolis on February 11th and then February 25th in Houston. They have some other events sprinkled in between. They have a lot of events coming up, as you can see here on this. But the 7, I assume, are where they're going to strictly record the stuff for that series, just called 7. But as you also see in this tweet, they have their regular show. I assume that's going to be the traditional event. The 7 tapings for death matches, ballroom blitz, all kinds of music, mayhem, fun, all the stuff that they say. And, one company, something for everybody. You know what? I think this is very interesting. I'm very, excited to see some creativity out there in the deathmatch realm, not just the traditional events. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you have your just event, and it's an event. Circle 6 is, changing it up. And looking into that first taping for January 26th in LA, that was a stacked card. I'm excited to see how this turns out. Just let's get some new, fresh stuff. Let's go, Circle 6. And before we leave the Circle 6 front, I do want to bring up this tweet that Ricky Shane Page put out on January 20th earlier this month, that he pretty much explained that he is leaving Circle 6 in a backstage capacity. He's no longer going to be like the booker, the talent relations guy, stuff like that. Stuff that I had no idea that was going on backstage, and even references in the video, like a lot of people probably didn't know this, but he still wanted to put it out anyway, that he's stepping away because of creative differences. It doesn't sound like there's any bad blood. Doesn't sound like there's any drama. There's nobody, stabbing people in the back. At least he didn't allude to any of that happening. It sounds like it was, all good. But either way, he said he worked really hard. He says it was a lot of fun, and he wants to do that later in the future. No clue if maybe the whole, 7 and all that kind of stuff was the different direction that maybe, Ricky Shane Page did not want to go down. Who knows what's what? He doesn't really go into full detail, just that he's stepping away from the backstage, but everything's good, so don't go out and start any drama crap like that. But yeah, just thought I'd touch on that. Oh, and just a little bit more about Ricky Shane Page. Apparently, he has started his own promotion, RCW. He announced live on his Twitch channel that he's bringing back one of the first promotions he worked for, where he formed a lot of great memories. Not sure if this could be the reason for stepping away from Circle 6, but either way, I want to wish him the best of luck getting everything off the ground and up and rolling. Combat Zone Wrestling is bringing back the Ultra-Violent Underground, and back in the day, it used to be like dark matches that were held after the event, sometimes just backstage, sometimes they were in junkyards, taped at a different location and thrown onto the DVDs as kind of bonuses, and then later released as their own thing. But yeah, the Ultra-Violent Underground is back. It's going to be a little different, though. This is going to be 4 events that are going to be held throughout the year, as opposed to those little one-off matches. I mean, as a lifelong CZW fan, I will say that I am pretty excited to see CZWs dip their toes back into the ultra-violent waters, and we saw TOD last year. Now we get the UVU this year. But that's not what this little news bulletin's about, because most people probably already heard about the UVU coming out for CZW. What I want to talk about here is what happened on January 21st that I don't see a lot of people freaking out about it, but it seems like a big deal to me. The ultra-violent icon Zandig is going to be involved with the Ultra-Violent Underground. CZW's founder apparently is going to be coming back. There was a dinner that he hosted that was, crashed by Slack. He came in, he got face-to-face with Zandig. They had a little bit of stare-off. He had a couple fries. And then this happened. He spit in his face, talks about how the food sucks in the restaurant. I would love to see faces of other people that were there. Yeah, that was who posted this video, but I would love to have seen other people's faces that were just there eating dinner. Hilarious, absolutely hilarious stuff, I thought. But yeah, he tells Slack, Zandig did, show up to UVU and we'll see what happens. Are we going to get a John Zandig versus Slack match in 2023? I feel like not enough people are talking about this in the deathmatch realm. Zandig apparently followed Slack out into the parking lot. This is just pure gold. I don't know about you guys. Slack got in his truck and went to drive off. Man, this is, I don't know what to tell you. This is awesome. I have no idea what to expect. All I know is it's going to be like a car crash that you cannot look away from. There's going to be body parts laying all over the place. It's going to be bloody. I know I'm going to be watching. And now we're going to do the hot take of the month, because I don't know. This is just my opinion. That's all this is. I don't want anybody to get butthurt that possibly sees this. This is just what I think. So my hot take this month is skewers are getting a little old. And by the way, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this hot take down below. So let me know in the comments what your take on skewers are. But we've been seeing them a long time. When I was first introduced to them, it was Masada and CZW. But I'm sure they've probably been around longer than that. But that's when I was first introduced to them. Now Atticus Koger uses them all the time. And everybody uses them. But that's kind of, it's Masada's and Koger's trademarks now. But everybody uses them. On top of that, it's almost in every single match you see. It's not in every match, but it is in an overwhelming majority of the matches that I've been watching lately, and it just seems to be getting stale. And I'm not saying I don't want to ever see him again. That's not what this is. I'm just saying maybe we can spice it up a little bit more. I know Masada has been, shoved him into people's head, putting a chair next to him, and kind of knee in the chair into the head. That's been his more trademark as of late. But maybe we can just do some different things with them, as opposed to just pull somebody over to the ropes or the chains and, pack them into the forehead or whatever, and they, freak out and everything. I don't know. That's just me. It's a hot take. I know. Maybe I'm in super minority here, but skewers just seem to be getting a little old. There's not that much that people have been doing to evolve them, and I don't know. That's just me. That's my hot take of the month. So there it is. Let me know down below, though. I want to know, are skewers getting old for you? Do you think I'm, an idiot here? But, when it comes to this topic. But for real, that's what I just want to know. Let's talk about it. I think it at least needs to be talked about, because it's in every Atticus Koger match, every Masada match, and several matches in between. So let's talk. As a fan, championships have always been really important to me personally. So I'm going to take this time in the video to share with you all of the Deathmatch championship matches of the month. The first title we're going to cover is the ICW American Deathmatch World Championship. It was defended last month at No Holds Barred's Volume 40 event. In Brandon Kirk's first title defense of 2023, he put the title up against the first ever champion, John Wayne Murdoch. Early on, Murdoch dominated the start of this thing until Kirk had enough and went completely fucking nuts, destroying Murdoch with every single light tube he could get his hands on. Eventually, Casey Kirk jumped into the ring to help her husband out, but Murdoch was having none of that. The distraction proved to be just enough for Brandon to take back control of the match later on, hitting the Psycho Driver, fuck your life! And with that, Brandon pinned Murdoch, scoring a massive, successful title defense. Just a side note here, after the match, Murdoch said that he wouldn't be coming back too often to No Holds Barred. So, I mean, that's really disheartening here. I don't know what it's about. He didn't elaborate. He kind of just jumped out of the ring. But that's going to be a pretty big blow to the roster going forward. At H2O's Hustle and Gold event, we had the H2O World Champion, one called Manders, taking on the Danny Havoc Hardcore Champion, Brandon Kirk. Originally, this was supposed to be a non-title match, but Brandon threw down the challenge, put his title on the line as long as Manders would do the same. Manders did accept the title stipulations, but only if the match was held under Manders' rules. Manders' rules really just meant this would be a straight-up wrestling match where Manders would end up getting himself disqualified after a low blow. So yes, no, there was no ultra violence that took place here, but it was still a solid match and had some fun story building. And as you could guess, yes, both guys left with their titles still in their possession. At RPW's This Time It's War event on January 20th, we saw the RPW Rust Belt Deathmatch champion Randy West put her title on the line against Satu Jin. And right off the bat, you could tell we were in for a war, with Jin crushing this bundle of light tubes over the head of the champ to start this match off. These two battled it out for over 18 minutes, and this was honestly one of my favorite title matches of the month. After being bloody beaten and exhausted, the end of the match came when Randy took her shirt off and wrapped it around Jin's throat, choking him out. This was a big statement win here for the veteran, and after the match you could see these were two wrestlers who respected the hell out of each other. Horror Slam held the first deathmatch tournament of the year, at least to my knowledge, at their Friday the 13th event. And that's where John Wayne Murdoch put the Deathmatch Championship on the line, a title that he's held for 499 days. He put it on the line in the very first round. DBA upset Murdoch, ending his long title reign and eliminated him from the tournament. Well, kinda. In the finals, Murdoch would force his way back into the tournament, where DBA had his newly won title on the line, only for Remington Roar to win the belt and the entire tournament. And it was Friday the 13th after all, so the craziness, we weren't done with that just yet. While Roar was celebrating his tournament win, Satu Jin cashed in his anytime title shot. He beat Roar, taking the deathmatch title home with him that night. So we had 3 different title changes all in one night for Horror Slam. So those were all the Deathmatch Championship matches that I saw that took place in January 2023. Let me know, did I miss any? Did I gloss over some? Did something else happen out there that I'm not covering? Please let me know, because I do want to cover it. I don't try to, overlook any companies out there. I do want to cover as much as possible in the deathmatch realm. Best if I can see the matches. That helps out. I want to watch the actual matches that take place. It's a little hard with Horror Slam. I have to go on to YouTube and watch stuff, but man, hey, Horror Slam, I promise you, from the stuff I've seen, you guys are worth it. People are going to want to watch you. Find a way to get it out there so we can see it a little bit better than some fan cams on YouTube. All right, it is time for the 5 must-see matches that took place in January of 2023. The first match I want to showcase from January took place at ICW No Holds Barred Volume 40 event. That's where Akira took on Eric Dillinger, who was making his debut inside the chains. This wasn't the bloodiest match of the month by any means, but both guys put on a hell of a match, kicking the show off in a giant way. You know what? A lot of people are probably not familiar with Eric Dillinger just yet, but after this showing, I think it's safe to say that he is going to be asked to come back. Akira delivered just as he always does, especially with that counter to Dillinger's dive outside of the ring straight into that triangle. Very smooth stuff. The end came when Akira planted Dillinger onto a pile of chairs, signs, even knives. Twice, by the way. Akira gets the win, starting off what looks to be another successful year at No Holds Barred, while we welcome in Eric Dillinger. I know I just talked about this match in the title segment, but I think it earned a spot in the top 5 matches that you need to watch in January of 2023. I'm talking about Randy West's Rust Belt Deathmatch title defense against Satu Jin at RPW's This Time It's War. This was near 20 minutes of absolute destruction, and that's the best way I can put this thing. What I loved about this match was the ending. After dozens and dozens of light tubes were used on one another, and after they were both covered in blood, a tank top is all it took to end this match. I like creative and different endings just like this one. Don't get me wrong, a big move through like tables, chairs, light tubes, that's all perfectly fine. What I'm saying is give me something different than the norm from time to time. If you do that, you get my attention. For the third match, we are going to go to No Peace Underground Samsara event where we saw a wild 6-person tag main event. Pero, Sawyer Wreck, and Schlack took on 440's Atticus Cogar, Eric Ryan, and Bobby Beverly. Funny enough, this match started out with normal tag team match rules, but as you would expect, everything broke down rather quickly. Seriously, from the first broken light tube bundle, this match was off the rails with non-stop ultra violence. The only complaint I have for this match was when Zachary Wentz came out, he put Cogar through some panes of glass and doors. And look at that camera cut right there. It completely hid the impact of the move, and man, it just kind of sucked. In fact, the camera work through this match was kind of all over the place, so keep that in mind when you go watch it back. But don't let that scare you away from this match. It really is must-see, and you need to go over to Fight TV right now and watch it. Pero would end up scoring the win for his team after a Rikishi drop onto Bobby Beverly. The next match you need to watch from January once again comes from ICW No Holds Barred Volume 40 show. The match between Dr. Redacted and Neil Diamond Cutter needs your attention. In my opinion, these two stole the show on a card filled with several other top-notch, look at the card, several other top-notch death matches. And I love how with everything going on throughout this match, Dr. Redacted still had time to jump on the commentary headset and talk a little trash. But I will say something very unfortunate did happen in this match. Neil Diamond Cutter ended up breaking his arm. I think it happened right here when he kind of deflected a chair shot, but I'm not really 100% sure. Either way, there was still a lot left to go in this match, and, you know, just kudos to Neil for finishing this thing with one arm, still performing at a very high level. After a Honey Badger splash, he was even able to pick up the win. Awesome match by both of these guys, for real. Please, please, please go check out this match. And I quickly want to point out that Neil wrestled the very next night in that crazy match against Toshiyuki Sakuda for H2O. He won that match as well, all with a broken frickin' arm. He currently has a GoFundMe going, so if you can, please go help him out. The link will be in the description below. Last up, we have to talk about this insane match out of XPW from their show, We Are Not Your Kind. Big Effin' Joe brought his whitey-tighties back to the United States to take on Drake Younger. I think lots of people are trying to block out of their mind that Drake Younger was once one of the best deathmatch wrestlers ever to do it, and right now, he seems to be at the start of his second major run. Joe and Drake put on what, in my opinion, was the best death match of the month, mixing up a ton of different styles. It's crazy because at the start of this match, they both had plenty of white showing on their gear, but by the end, it was nothing but blood red. If you are going to miss this match, I promise you right now, you are missing out. Drake Younger ended up getting the win via referee stoppage after dismantling Joe up against the ropes, pelting him with light tube after light tube after light tube. Afterwards, Drake told Joe that he can have a rematch anytime he wants, and then he put Joe over in a really big way.
And Joe, you are the present and the future of deathmatch fighting. Thank you for all that you do. Wow.
Wow. So in my opinion, those were the 5 death matches that were must-see in January of 2023. Let me know down below, what matches do you think should be added to that list? What did I overlook? What did I not list here in this? I'm sure there was a lot of good matches, first of all. So yes, there were matches. Tremont, Hoodfoot, the bull rope match was very good, but didn't quite fit onto the list. It's hard. I have to limit myself to just 5 here. Okay, we'd be here all freaking day. Okay, but that's what happened. Let me know down below, though, like I said, what do you think should be in the 5 must-see matches that took place in January? So with all of that said, I am going to wrap up this episode of January's monthly deathmatch rundown. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something. I hope you saw some stuff that you actually liked. Please let me know down below, did you like this video? Do you want to see more of these videos? I think if this does, gets enough traction, if you guys really like it enough, maybe we can make this a monthly thing. I would love that more than anything. But I want to hear from you. Please let me know down below. What did you think? What do you want to see involved next time? What do you want to have less of? What do you want more of? Probably more blood. I'm guessing you want more blood. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Share this video. Let's talk more about deathmatch wrestling out there in the world. Let's talk more about independent wrestling in general. The more we talk about it, hopefully, the more fun we get to enjoy together. And make sure you head over to Twitter, follow @JobberRadio, and we'll get in some more discussions. We'll talk some deathmatch wrestling. We'll talk about all that jazz. But thank you so much. I'm in the video right now. We'll see you on the next one. Hope you'll be there.